There are trees down. There is glass everywhere. You can see this is some of the debris actually outside the CNN Center in Atlanta. There is damage to the Georgia Dome.
When the storm first hit, guys, there were actually nuts and bolts flying from the top of the roof down to the playing court and into the stands. There were cameramen up on the catwalks above the playing court filming the game, and those things started swaying back and forth, so you can imagine how frightened that man was.
When the tornado hit the building, it actually took out a part of our roof. And so now when you look at the roof, you see all the fabric panels are the same color except for one, except for this bright white triangle. And that was the one that had to be replaced, and I call it our scar.
You remember the successes and how people came together, but I think the true test of a team is how we get through the adversity, how we get through the unexpected things, and that's when I think our real mettle came out. After the tornado, Dan, Kevin Duvall, and myself were walking through the Congress Center just looking at total destruction. Literally, you could see the sky from inside the building. We looked at pieces of the dome wall laying on the sidewalk, and we were trying to figure out, well, what do we do now? Literally in the middle of the night. And I think Kevin said, man, it might be a year before we open back up again. I said, a year is a long time. I said, we'll have it back up in 6 months. And Dan said, I give you 90 days.
You have to remember, this was our home. And if you think about it, if something like that happened to your home, you would be motivated to fix that as quickly as you could.
You always look up and you remember something about that moment when that happened. And for me, the way the team came together to pull off that next day's tournament game over at Georgia Tech, and how we were all in a room and everybody was just being assigned some sort of task. No matter what your role was in the organization, you were being assigned a task.
It was that when people come together, we can do things that nobody expected us to do. And that's the kind of team it was, where, you know, the Carl Atkins of the world and the Pat Whites and the Ken Jeffersons and everybody that was involved in making it happen just said, forget about what our day-to-day job is. Let's get in the room and figure it out.
I believe what makes us the championship team is obviously the people. The quality hires that we have, the folks that we've brought in that care about it, the longevity of the team together. It's a winning